Well, it's Thursday evening. It's 10:30 in the evening. I got my camping gear with me. Then I'm gonna go out and do a little test, and I'm gonna take my board and ride it there. Look at those 10-inch wheels, man. It's an instrument of locomotion. But yeah, we're not actually going to be going that far, but it's far enough that I don't feel like walking. Because when I get there, I'll be pretty much completely drenched in sweat. So I'm going to take my board. Yeah, let's get going. So it's like a couple minutes later, I'm at the place, and generally I was thinking that I was gonna go like somewhere over yonder, but really not that more of a detailed plan. Just generally, I was gonna come somewhere here, and then I'm gonna go in there and find a place, but I'm gonna take this helmet off and I'm gonna reveal my secret weapon so I can survive, because I am about to start, because the mosquitoes are already starting to buzz around me and I'm not that interested in getting bitten, so I'm gonna reveal my secret weapon. And I present to you my secret weapon. Hey, can't get bitten if the mosquitoes can't get to your skin, eh? And I have otherwise like pretty well, maybe like the joints of my hands are the only place where they can actually get to bite me, but otherwise I'm like pretty much covered. But yeah, I'm probably gonna just go over there and just gonna go look for a little bit. And if I find a place, then I'm gonna come back here and take my gear and haul them over there. But otherwise, I mean, if we go just couple tens of meters into the forest, I don't think we're gonna have to be worried about it. Anybody coming across us during the night, at least. I mean, this is somewhat busy, like fitness jogging track during the day, but somehow I don't feel that there's gonna be that many people here during the night. So I'll get back to you once I find a spot and get my gear hauled there. Okay, so I have gotten all my gear here, and I think I'm just gonna, this particular patch here is pretty flat, so I think I'm just gonna try to lay across about there. I want to try this evening, I want to try sleeping on the ground. I'm using a hammock that also doubles as a bivy bag, so you know, if you wanted to, I suppose I could string it like between these two trees here also, but I already tried that last night, so I want to see how it feels to sleep on the ground. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight. But I mean, this buck hat, whatever you would call it, makes this so much. I'm still getting bitten, especially on my legs. They're getting through my socks. They're getting through the easiest place, which is my sock. Otherwise, I don't really think there's any places where they can bite me. But like, the mosquito season is just mental at the moment. Like, there's so many. Like, last night it was freaking pain because there was so many mosquitoes buzzing around me that if I like stopped for a couple seconds, they were getting into my eyes, they were getting into my mouth, into my nose, into my ears, just being super annoying. But this time, thanks to this 4-euro hat, I don't really need to care about them. So I would say that is 4 euros very well spent. But I'm gonna start getting the gear on, laid out and set up, and then I'm gonna come back to you. So let's look at what the situation is. So it's basically now set up, the ridge line. I'm using the spreader bars, these, which would normally, if you use it like a hammock, they would go into there at both ends, and sort of like, because this is a lay flat design, it stays pretty horizontal when you use it as a hammock, which I liked. But I wanted to try it as a sort of bivy, ground setup also. But that's why I want to. I mean, I'm in the forest. I could find like sticks that are longer than these, so I could like get my ridge line a little bit higher, because it's sagging a little bit inwards, the buck net, but it's high enough that I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's not going to be, at least I don't think it's going to be sagging against my skin. And the main other point is that these are going to be coming with me regardless. So I'm sort of testing out if they are good. And I 3D printed these little end caps here, which has a little, like, this notch in there, which can be used exactly for this purpose, that it it stops if you want to keep something like at the top here, it stops it from slipping just out, because otherwise, if we look at the other end, if we can see the other end, I mean, otherwise it's just a smooth end cap. So if this works, then it will be a pretty handy way to make these make these sort of W's. Because if we are on the ground here, this is my first iteration of this. I'm already seeing a little bit of iteration possibilities. Oh man, if you guys could just see the amount of mosquitoes hovering around me, it is quite astounding. I gave myself a little bit of spritz of like mosquito repellent, and I think that calmed things down a lot. I gave myself a little bit of spray around my head area, and then basically anywhere where I don't have protection, just so they wouldn't bite me in those weak spots, so to say. But I mean, otherwise, I'm gonna continue with this. Well, as I was a little bit suspecting, it's a little bit slumped in this. It's just about if you stay like completely lying on the mattress, the net just about stays off your skin, but there's not a lot of room here. Doesn't actually look that bad on the video. But yeah, well, I mean, this is sort of like, well, let's go and see what happens sort of test. So I already have a couple of ideas. I think I'm gonna 3D print a couple of like extension pieces for those spreader bars, just so I can get this ridge line that runs across, just so I can get it a little bit higher, and that will help to spread out the buck net a little bit better. And I think that's gonna make a pretty big difference. It doesn't need to be that much higher. Like if I can add like 10 to 15 centimeters in both bars, I think that is going to be a pretty good solution. At least try that. And I think other thing is that, oh man, it doesn't probably gonna come really well across on the video, but the amount of mosquitoes outside of this net is freaking mental. Like, I'm just lying here and I can hear the mosquito like whine, the buzz in my ears, like one inside. Well, as I was getting in, couple of them got inside, but I would probably call the intruders or just let them do their thing. But yeah, we're gonna see how the night goes. But I'm gonna go with this. But yeah, see you in the morning, or maybe in the night, or whatever the next time is gonna be. See. Well, good morning. It is about 9 in the morning, and it is starting to get a little bit warm out here. But yeah, I would say that was pretty good night. I would say I prefer sleeping on the ground based on how last night went. I just need to be able to extend those spreader bars a little bit more. Then it's gonna be even better. Yeah. See you next time. Yeah, it was actually a pretty good night, and the interesting thing is that now that it's morning and the sun is out, they're there are like no mosquitoes anywhere. It's like complete 180 compared to the evening or when it gets dark. No mosquitoes at all, which is so nice.